Long before the bright lights of Los Angeles lit up the night sky, the hills of Mount Lee stood quiet and untouched. Wild sage and oak trees covered the slopes, and coyotes howled under a silver moon. Long before anyone dreamed of movies, the land belonged to the native Tongva people who walked these ridges in peace. Then, in the early 1900s, a new kind of pioneer arrived: builders, dreamers, and risk-takers chasing fortune beneath the California Sunday. Among them was Harry Chandler, a powerful newspaper owner who saw possibility in the rolling hills above Los Angeles. He and a group of investors launched a real estate development called Hollywoodland. To promote it, they planned something no one had ever attempted before: an enormous electric sign built high in the mountains for the world to see. In 1923, trucks carried lumber, steel, and giant white panels up the steep slopes. Workers hammered and bolted through the summer heat, assembling letters 50 feet tall and 30 feet wide. HOLLYWOODLAND. Each letter stood like a sentinel watching over the valley. It was meant to stay up for only a year, just long enough to sell homes. But the moment it lit up, it became something more. 4,000 bulbs outlined the letters, sparkling through the night like a message from the stars. Come to Hollywoodland, the dream city. What had started as an advertisement began to feel like destiny itself. During the 1,920 seconds, Los Angeles transformed into the beating heart of cinema. Silent pictures turned to talkies, and ordinary men and women became living legends. The sign above them seemed to bless their rise. Trainloads of hopeful actors arrived from small towns across America. They'd stand on the streets of Los Angeles, glance up at the shining letters, and whisper their promises. One day my name will be famous here. The Hollywoodland sign became a lighthouse for ambition, its glow visible for miles across the basin. But dreams are fragile. By the 1,930 seconds, the real estate company behind the project collapsed. The sign, neglected and weather-beaten, began to crumble. Bulbs burned out, wooden supports cracked, and storms tore through the letters. In 1940, the first H fell, crashing down the hillside. What once represented glamour now stood as a ghostly ruin. During the Great Depression, when millions lost everything, people looked up at the half-broken sign and saw a cruel truth: the American dream itself seemed to be falling apart. Then, tragedy struck. In 1932, a young actress named Peg Entwistle, who had come from New York chasing fame, found herself rejected and hopeless. One dark September night, she climbed Mount Lee. Standing near the base of the letter H, she looked down at the glowing city and jumped. Her death shocked the nation. Newspapers called her the Hollywood Sign Girl. For many, the sign no longer symbolized opportunity alone. It also stood for heartbreak and the price of impossible dreams. Yet even in ruin, Hollywood could not let its symbol die. In 1949, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce stepped in to restore the structure. The last four letters, land, were removed, transforming it from Hollywoodland to the single word, Hollywood. A word that by then meant magic, fame, and the global language of movies. The sign was repainted, the wood repaired, and once again it gleamed white against the blue California sky. From that moment, the sign was no longer an ad, it was a monument. Time rolled on. By the 1,960 seconds and 70 seconds, Los Angeles had grown into the entertainment capital of the world. But up on the hill, the old wooden sign was decaying once again. Termites, storms, and vandals had done their work. The O split in half, one L leaned dangerously forward, and pranksters painted over letters for jokes. The city declared it a historic landmark in 1973, but no one had the funds to save it. Then, in 1978, a surprising hero appeared: Hugh Hefner, the founder of Playboy magazine. Determined to preserve the sign, he organized a massive fundraising gala. Each of the 9 letters was adopted by celebrities. Alice Cooper sponsored the O in memory of Groucho Marx. Gene Autry took an L, Les Kelly of Kelly Blue Book took another, and Hefner himself sponsored the Y. With the money raised, the city rebuilt the sign entirely from steel, no longer fragile wood. Helicopters lifted the new white panels into place. When the final bolt was fastened, the Hollywood sign shone again, reborn, stronger than ever. Throughout the 1,980 seconds and 90 seconds, the sign became the crown of Los Angeles. Tourists hiked the trails to see it. Filmmakers used it in opening shots. Couples proposed beneath its shadow. For generations raised on movie dreams, the sign was proof that magic was real. Behind its glow lay a century of stories: the rise of studios, the golden age of cinema, the scandals and the stars, the laughter and the tears. Every letter held a memory. Few people know the small secrets hidden in its history. In the 1,940 seconds, caretakers actually lived in little cabins near the letters to guard against vandals. In 1976, pranksters famously changed it to Hollyweed to celebrate California's new marijuana law. Over the years, it has been altered to Hollywood, Hollyboob, even Hillwoo, but each time it was quickly restored. The world could change, technology could change, but those 9 white letters had become untouchable. Today, standing proudly over Griffith Park, the Hollywood sign is more than a landmark, it's a statement. It tells every visitor that dreams are worth chasing, even when they seem out of reach. Each letter represents courage, risk, and reinvention. For actors, musicians, and artists from around the world, the first glimpse of the sign feels like arriving at the gateway of possibility. For the city itself, it's a reminder of how far imagination can carry a human being. At night, when the winds sweep across the canyon and the city glitters below, the sign watches silently. It has seen fortunes made and lost, stars born and forgotten, whole eras rise and fade. Yet it still stands. It has outlived its builders, its sponsors, even its legends. The wood that once symbolized a temporary dream has turned into steel, a permanent testament to endurance. The sign whispers to anyone who looks up, you can make it if you keep believing. In 2023, the Hollywood sign celebrated its 100-year anniversary. Crews cleaned every bolt, repainted every surface, and drones captured its gleaming rebirth from the air. The world watched, remembering that this monument began as nothing more than a marketing trick. But time and passion turned it into the universal emblem of hope. Tourists still climb the trails to see it. Filmmakers still open their movies with it. And dreamers still arrive in Los Angeles with the same faith the early settlers once had. That somewhere beneath those 9 letters, miracles happen. The hills that were once silent now echo with stories. Every gust of wind that passes through the letters carries the laughter of old stars, the footsteps of newcomers, the cries of those who failed, and the cheers of those who succeeded. The Hollywood sign has become more than wood, metal, or fame. It is the heartbeat of a dream. And though the world changes every decade, one thing remains true. Those white letters will always stand for the greatest story ever told, the story of believing in yourself. Because in the end, the Hollywood sign doesn't just spell a place, it spells hope.